Hello everybody! In this video I'm going to talk about a very controversial topic and I'm going to answer the question what language I consider to be the most difficult to learn. And to start, I want to say that the notion of difficulty is a bit relative, of course. It depends on your native language, on the languages you speak, on the languages that you've studied in your life. So it depends on many things. So for example, for me, difficult language might not be difficult for you. But the languages that I'm going to mention in this video, I truly believe that everybody will consider very difficult to learn. Because I'm going to talk about language isolates. First, let's define language isolates so that you can understand what I'm talking about. Language isolates are languages that have no historical or linguistic relationship to any other languages of the world, and they can be found in different parts of the world. Also, in some cases, languages are classified as isolates when we know so little about them that we cannot establish any family relationship to any other languages.
In other cases, the languages are well known and well described, but the family relationship cannot be determined because all their relatives went extinct and have left no record. Such is probably the case of Basque. On the other hand, a language thought to be an isolate may turn out to be related to other languages once scholars agree on the classification scheme.
This is, for example, the case of Japanese, which until recently was considered to be a language isolate, until there was established its relationship to Ryukyuan languages.
As a result, Japanese is now considered to be a member of the Japanese-Japonic language family.
Finally, some languages have become isolates in recent years, and this happened because all their known relatives have become extinct, and precisely because of the fact that these languages are not like any other languages in the world. I truly consider language isolates to be the most difficult to learn, because their acquisition doesn't depend on your native language or the languages you speak, because they are not like any other languages. Of course, in some situations when these languages use the Latin alphabet or, for example, the Arabic script, it can be a bit easier to learn to read or write them if you already know the Latin alphabet and the Arabic script. But believe me, the morphology, the syntax, tonal system in some cases are so complex that this minor simplification of knowing how to read or write won't really help you much, in my opinion. So I truly believe that all these language isolates are the most difficult languages to learn. And this video is going to be dedicated to these language isolates. First, we're going to see some general explanations of them, and then we're going to see some concrete examples of the most spoken language isolates in the world. Ethnologue lists 75 language isolates, but probably the number is a bit higher, around 100. Well, of all these language isolates, now 9 are extinct and 8 are on the point of extinction, with fewer than 100 speakers remaining.
A good percentage of the languages listed are spoken in remote areas of Papua New Guinea and the Andean regions of South America. The only large language isolates are Korean with 42 million and Basque with more than 580,000 speakers. This table lists some of the existing language isolates.
Now let's consider more in details the first 5 most spoken language isolates in the world. And number 1 is Korean. As you well know, Korean is the official language of North and South Korea. As there is no obvious genealogical relationship to any other language, linguists believe that Korean did not descend from any other language.
This qualifies Korean as a language isolate or a single language family. Modern Korean descended from Middle Korean, which in turn descended from Old Korean, which descended from the language spoken in prehistoric Korea. Ancient Chinese characters arrived on the Korean peninsula around the same time as Buddhism. The writing system known as Hanja was adapted for Korean and became the main script for over a millennium. King Sejong the Great ruled during the 15th century and believed Hanja was inadequate for use with Korean. He considered it a key reason why the general population was illiterate. So King Sejong personally created Hangul.
after it was used to print many popular books, literacy increased tremendously among different classes. And not surprisingly, Hangul is still used today. And this is despite of the fact that many aristocrats harshly criticized Hangul at the beginning because they thought it was too easy to learn. But I must say that Korean is generally considered to be one of the most difficult languages to learn, although its writing system is relatively easy to master. But Korean grammar and pronunciation are very complicated. Language number 2 is Basque. Basque is one of the oldest languages in the world, and also it's one of the most difficult to learn, because once again it's a language isolate, so it's not connected to any other language. And Basque vocabulary and word structure are quite complicated.
The origin of the language is still undetermined. German philologist Hugo Schuckert postulated a genetic connection between Basque, Iberian, the long extinct language of the ancient inscriptions of eastern Spain and of the Mediterranean coast of France, and the Afro-Asiatic languages. Despite amazing coincidences in phonology, Basque has so far contributed a little to the understanding of the Iberian texts. This suggests that the similarity in sound systems may have resulted from close contact between Basques and Iberians and not from a genetic linguistic relationship. Somewhat similarly, studies after Schuckert's have not found common linguistic characteristics between Basque and the Afro-Asiatic languages. Some common features, however, do suggest a relationship between Basque and the Caucasian languages.
It's believed to be the last of the pre-Indo-European languages that existed in Western Europe, before the Indo-European languages arrived. There were even authors that believed that the language was from the Neolithic period or the Stone Age.
The assumption was made because some of the Basque words were all derived from the Basque word for stone, which was the material used in the tools produced during the Stone Age, although there were others that disagree with this theory.
At the present time, linguistics does not consider the former theories to be supported by sufficient evidence and classifies Euskara as a language isolate.
There are 5 Basque dialects used in the Basque countries in France and Spain. Basque uses a Latin script, including any, but the letters C, Q, V, W, and Y are only seen on loan words. It has picked up words from French, Castilian, and Latin, as well as Arabic and Celtic.
What's interesting is that the Castilian words for scrap, chatarra, and left, izquierda, are all from Basque. Likewise, the English and French word bizarre originated in the Basque word bizarre, which means beard. Burushaski is a language isolate spoken in northern Pakistan and northern India. In Pakistan, it's spoken by around 87,000 people.
Although Burushaski has been compared to almost any language on Earth, no fully convincing relationships have yet been established. Modern taxonomic methods are, however, beginning to yield results. Ruling in 1992 reported on a possible classification of Burushaski as a separate branch of a newly proposed the Ne-Caucasian superstock. More recently, in 1995, there were listed tens of etymologies relating Burushaski to the Yeniseian languages, spoken by 100 people along the Yenisei River in Siberia.
What's interesting is that until recently, Burushaski was rarely written. A number of texts have been written by native speakers for researchers using the Arabic alphabet, and the International Phonetic Alphabet and the Roman alphabet have also been used to write texts in this language. Pais is a language of South America spoken by around 75,000 people in Colombia.
Though the Pais language was believed in the past to be linked to the Barbacoan and/or Chibchan language families, today is thought to be a language isolate, not known to be related to any other living language. 2 extinct languages, Pansaleo, Quito, and Alauxi, may have been related, but both are too little attested to be sure of that.
Thais is a polysynthetic language and uses the subject, object, verb, word order. It's also taught in some schools and used on some radio stations. Takuna is a language isolate spoken by approximately 50,000 ethnic Takunas in western Amazonia, across the borders of Peru, Colombia and Brazil.
Takuna is possibly related to the extinct Yuri language, which was spoken along the Caquetá River in Brazil. Takuna is also known as Macta, Maguta, Tukuna and Tukna.
In Brazil, Takuna is taught in schools and used as a medium of instruction. There is also some literature in Takuna based on traditional stories. Takuna has also been used in schools in Peru since 1960s.
Takuna is a fairly isolating language morphologically, meaning that most words consist of just one morpheme.
However, Takuna words usually have more than one syllable, unlike isolating languages like Vietnamese. What's especially interesting about this language is that it's an unusually tonal language for South America, with 5 level tones and 4 contour tones. So these are 5 most spoken language isolates in the world, and I truly believe that these languages are the most difficult to learn. Do you agree with me? You can leave it in the comments below the video. And thank you very much for watching me till the end. If you want to support my work, you can put a like, and I'll see you very soon. Bye bye!